Rise and shine, beloved great grand rising. Come on in, come on in. This is Ilona Sanders. Welcome to Spiritual Success TV Live, where we're lighting the way to help you create a clear path forward on your personal and spiritual development journey. Take a moment, go ahead, tag your friends, tag your family members. Let them know Spiritual Success TV is live. And I'm just going to check Facebook to make sure we're live over there. I'm going to throw a great grand rising up in the comments and we're going to be ready to go. So go ahead, tag someone, let them know that we are live today. I'm just going to put a grand rising up here. Grand afternoon, grand evening, wherever you are tuning into on this beautiful multiverse. All right, so let's go. We are broadcasting on Facebook. Let me keep that open so I can see comments. Come on, give me a great grand rise and let me know that you are here. With that being said, beloved, let's do what we do over here. Let's activate what I call the success mind. And we're going to go ahead and sit with feet flat, back straight, hand on heart. Hand on your core. Take a good healing deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth fully. Slowly, completely. Relax from the crown of the head, skin over scalp. Drop the shoulders down. Let your face pull down. When you relax your scalp, everything in the face should relax. Drop those shoulders down. Loosen up those arms. Relax. Torso relax. Core, thighs, legs, feet, toes. We are here. We are grounded. Deep breath in. Exhale. Turn that focus inward to the rich inner life, the kingdom that is within, the universe within, the infinite eternal realm that is within. Breath in and exhale. We're so thankful for another day to be here, and happy Pentecost Sunday for those of you that celebrate Pentecost. I remember back in the day in New York City, this is going back to the 70s, y'all, and the 80s. So I'm really dating myself. But Pentecost Sunday was a big deal. And so for those of you that celebrate, for those of you that don't know, it is in the sacred text that 50 days after the resurrection of Yeshua, that they were in the upper room, 120 of the disciples. And then in Acts chapter number 2, you can read about it there. There came a sound from heaven like a rushing mighty wind, filled all the house where they were sitting. They began to speak with other tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance. So it's interesting reading. Read that. Back in the day, Pentecost Sunday was a big deal. So for those of you all that still celebrate, happy Pentecost Sunday to you. All right. So with that being said, today we are continuing on the awakened path, and this is just our soft introduction. We talked about awakening will disrupt fear-based systems. We talked about that last week. We talked about awakening can feel like rebellion sometime, but today I want to go deeper, and I want to talk about how questioning the divine, God, the sacred, spiritual, is not a sin, it's sacred, and it's a sign. It's a sign that you are beginning to wake up. Now, this is something that's very important to me as I coach all my students and my clients, just hundreds of them, into making the transition out of fear-based systems, fear-based organized religion, into a more spiritually aligned path with who they are called to be, to fulfill this spiritual assignment in this 3D realm. So I'm going to go and look at the email that I sent on Friday to you guys. You should have had that. And I hope that you are going along with us and doing what we are doing in all of these emails and in the prompts, right? Okay, so let's go. Let's just look at a couple of points to touch on today. Questioning again. Your questions is not a sign of rebellion. It's not a sign of sin. It is sacred. It is a sign that you are evolving, that you're waking up. It is your soul's evolution. Put that in the chat. It is your soul's evolution, right? I'm looking directly at the email. When we consider questioning, we've been conditioned to believe that questioning God or questioning spiritual truth is somehow disrespectful and dangerous. And you know, we grew up with the saying, don't question God, don't question God. But in truth, questioning is one of the most sacred acts of intimacy. I want you to write that down. Questioning is one of the most sacred acts of intimacy, right? It can initiate a soul evolution. It's not rebellion, beloved. It's revelation. And so to question is revelation in progress, right? To question is to engage, is to become intimate, is to seek deeper understanding, deeper wisdom. To question is to trust that there is an answer worthy of your soul's inquiry, and that the God that you are in covenant with is great enough to handle your questions, all of your questions, even Christ's question, right? Why hast thou forsaken me? In his humanity. So with that being said, we are in an age of information technology, and you know, I've shared with you guys forever. The new trinity is what? Spirituality, right? Technology, science. That is going to be at the forefront, propelling us forward, where they are converging now to create one of the greatest soul evolutionary movements we have seen in a long time. And we're on an upward scale of progression. As more light codes are coming in, as we are positioning ourselves to receive these light codes, we are so thankful and grateful. Great Grand Rising, come on in. Let me know that you're here, right? So let's look at this. Even Christ questioned, right? This is not weakness. It's not weakness. It's the divine inquiry where your soul is inquiring. True faith is not fragile. Write that down. True faith is not fragile. And in this season, I want to encourage you to question everything. Listen, beloved, in our spiritual success community, on the life path, the spiritual success life path, the first place that we land is in the dimension of awareness, because awareness is your key to freedom. Awareness is your first inkling that your soul is evolving, that your soul is awakening and beginning to remember truth. Put that in your notes. So your awareness, the more you become aware of things, the more you'll get to know and understand who you are. And you know my saying, the more you know yourself, the more you know God, the more you know God, the more you know yourself, because you and God are one. We want to embrace that. So your questioning or your doubts that may come up about things that you believe can be a portal, can be a doorway, an entryway for you to go into deeper dimensions. So when you're in this first dimension of awareness, you begin to start noticing things that you may have been asleep to most of your life. Things that you paid no attention to that was right in your face. Things that you just believe blindly, that we are coming up out of that age. That's all a part of that Piscean age where it was all about belief. It was all about faith. But in the age that we are birthing into now or coming into now, it's about a knowing. It's about truth. It's about exposure. It's about what's authentic and what is real. And everything in the unseen realm is lined up to assist you in embracing truth. So on my website, elonasanders.com, you could go there, and right on the side or up on the top banner, you would see something about a belief audit. I want you to click on that, download it, it's free. And I want you to go through, because in this season it is so important that you are governing yourself and that you understand what you believe and why you believe it. So questions are sacred. Questions are divine. And in this season, you should be questioning everything and then trusting the answers that you are getting, that's going to set you on your path, that's going to set you on your spiritual journey, that's going to allow you to be the best version of yourself you can be. So when we say question, I want you to understand this. So when you start coming into awareness and you start paying attention and you start noticing things, Grand Rising, Lisa, thanks for joining us live, right? That starts the awakening process. And so what I want to do in this season is to really grab you by the hand and let's walk the awakened path together, so that you don't keep running into brick walls and pitfalls, okay? We don't want to keep running into brick walls and pitfalls, but we want to walk this awakened path with conscious certainty that you're on the right path for you. That we just have to take a moment and just breathe that in. That sounds simple, but you will be amazed at the people that I have to coach and mentor around just trusting what's right for you. Trusting your intuition. Trusting the Holy Spirit's guidance in your life, that it's going to be right for you. As you start awakening, you start an evolutionary process where you start evolving. You start ascending into higher and deeper dimensions of consciousness. And you have to settle it right here, right now, that you're going to allow what's right for you to lead you and guide you, right? So, I believe it is, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say it was the Hebrew writer. I could be wrong about it, right? But leaving the principles of the doctrine, let us go on to perfection. Somebody tell me if that's the Hebrew writer or not. I was sharing with one of my sisters this week that how I used to be so adept. Man, I could tell you book, chapter, verse, comma, period. But I've since released that level of understanding sacred texts, right? I still got it deep in me, but I might not remember where it is because I made a conscious choice to release that level of just being able to recite something. Leaving the principles of the doctrine, let us go on to perfection, go on to maturity, right? Let us go on. So, and let's not go back into picking up the dead works of repentance and laying on of hand and baptism and all these questions and these issues that we let divide us and let's keep us in fear-based systems. It's time to leave all of that and go into maturity. Come into some kind of growth. As the Galatians writer said, as long as you are a babe, as long as you're needing somebody to guide you and have a steward over you, you cannot get your full inheritance because that's reserved for maturity. So let us go on to maturity. How are you going to get to maturity? You have to honor those questions. You have to question everything. I remember even in my tenure as a pastor, even as late as probably 2010, 11, 12 something, I remember one of my church members coming and asking me a question that I fully knew the answer to, but I would not give the answer because we were in that fear-based box of doctrinal interpretation. And at that time, and this is just not even that long ago, at that time, I would not give a full, complete answer because I was still connected to that box as well. But let me tell you this, beloved, your questions, your inquiry, your doubts, your exploration is not rebellion. It's a sign. It's sacred that you are awakening, and you will not come into real power, real authority, sovereignty until you allow those questions to come up and seek answers. Seek and ye shall find. Knock, the door shall be opened. Ask, it shall be given. Leaving the principles of the doctrine. Let's go on to perfection, not laying again the foundation of dead works of repentance and baptisms and laying on of hands and all of that. Beloved, there is the awakened path that's waiting for you to step on to take you far beyond that. So there's a lot of interesting things going on social media. I'm not even going to get into that. I'm nap, clear, cancel, delete. Not going down that hole today. But I will say this, right? When you begin to awaken and you get on the awakened path and you start asking questions, you start waking up and you realize that there are certain things that you believed or that you were taught that's no longer in alignment with who you are or what you're being asked to impact the world with now. Something is not in alignment. I remember there were several things that piqued my attention in certain questions that I asked. And I remember having an issue. And like I said, your God should be great enough to handle your inquiries, your doubts, your disagreements. See, this is leaving that fear-based system of thinking that you're going to be in trouble or it's dangerous or it's rebellious for you to ask questions. No, you ask the question. One of the things I took issue with was Israel's exodus. Yeah. And again, I purposely forgot a lot of this stuff. But one of the things I took issue with was Israel's exodus, and that they were led out of Egypt into what was told to them would be a promised land. And when they got there, there was a famine, so they couldn't stay. So they had to go down south to the Negev, right? Okay. So I took issue with all of that they've been into, even back to Abram. Let's start there. I took issue. Abraham gets this divine message. He gets this divine prophecy about who he is, what's going to happen, and all of that. Leave, go, famine, bondage, 400 years. I began to question that. I was like, that didn't make any sense to me. You know, you are the great God, the one that knows all things, and you're making promise and setting them on a path. And then they go to set out on the path, and it's all this, that, the other. There's nothing wrong with asking the question, because you want to seek answers, right? And then the next place I stopped at was Genesis 6. There was a whole lot going on in Genesis 6 that I can clearly see the canon text that I was reading was not telling the whole story. There's nothing wrong. But I said all of that to say this, beloved. You will stay at an elementary, rudimentary, infantile level if you don't allow yourself to ask the questions and grow. Because there is so much more beyond what we have embraced over the years. Your questions is your soul evolution, remembering your divinity, remembering your sovereignty, and it wants you to wake up to begin to live that and embody that. So we ask all kinds of questions, and we're in an age now, as we're leaving the Piscean age, coming into the Aquarian age, right? It's all about truth and authenticity now. It's not about what you believe or your faith. It's about what you know. It's not following systems and rules and hierarchies. It's about individual sovereignty, individual connection and relationship, and you have to be okay with that. You are not going to grow past an elementary level if you don't allow yourself to study, to show yourself approved beyond your religious indoctrination. Somebody better write that down. Don't get me started in here. Because listen, beloved, we can clearly see how certain systems are designed to keep you at a deficit, to keep you dumbed down, to keep you in control. And that is not what we are here for. We are waking up. Our bodies are upgrading. We're taking in more light codes. As more light codes are being reflected and released, this is another story, another talk for another day, right? Don't want to go too deep. My whole point today, your doubt is a portal into deeper dimensions of truth. And your soul wants to remember divine truth. Again, I have to repeat this. Until you allow yourself to ask the questions, start exploring, releasing what no longer works for you, you will stay stagnant at a certain immature level. I've said this for the last several years, right? Us being in the spiritual success community, this is not milk. It's not even meat. We're in the mysteries of the kingdom. And you will not start growing and maturing until you allow yourself to step out of the box of what you put yourself in and held yourself captive in for many years. This is the season for it, beloved. We are ripe for it. So we're asking all kinds of questions. And now where we are, come on, you got to come and keep up with the times and keep up with the evolution, because as light beings here, no matter how far we go in advancement, we have a responsibility to guide humanity in technology, in spirituality, in science, the new Trinity, right? We have a responsibility, a respondability. Now with the help of AI and all of these systems that are being released and having deep inquiry at your fingertips, it is our responsibility now as light beings to guide humanity, not into religion, not into bondage, not into fear of heaven and hell, none of that, because a lot of that, beloved, as you become a master, you recognize that you are given the authority to create that even in this 3D realm. So it's not about what's going to happen later. I was sharing with family members again this week, and I said again, these are just some of my pet peeves, right? I said, I can't believe that we spent all those years, and I shared at the top of this broadcast, I went back to the 70s and 80s. That's how long we've been doing this, and how Pentecost Sunday was a big deal. You know, that was the sacred part. That was the holy part. And that has its merit. But I can't believe the years we just spent in church, week after week after week, dancing, shouting, speaking in tongues, Bible study, you know, this day, that day, and we were just oblivious to what was going on in the world. And we were taught to do so because they would use texts to say, we're in the world, but not of the world. Come out from among them, be ye separate. And they isolated us from the world. And we was in this little bubble in an echo chamber, right? Where everybody's saying the same thing, doing the same thing, looking the same way. We was pouring all of our income and our resources into this bubble. And when I look at it today, it hurts my heart. You know why I can say that? Because of evolution, because of spiritual growth. And, you know, everything is how it is, not trying to go back and change anything. But now when we talk about awakening and coming into I can clearly see how we were just in this bubble and we were encouraged. We went to church pretty much every day of the week. There was something to do, and they were teaching us that that's what we wanted. And we would go out to touch the world, to evangelize the world, right? To convert the world, but we were not connected to the world. And so with all of that being said, now that we are waking up, we've got to come into the mastery of balancing the material and the spiritual world. We have to bring balance to that so that we're doing what we're here to do. So your questions, beloved, is not sin. It's not rebellion. It is a divine sign, a sacred sign that your soul is evolving and it wants you to remember. There is so much to remember, and I'm going to just decree and declare right now today that you will breathe, you will relax, and you will allow your soul to remember all the codes that we've been encoded with. We just start waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up. And we go deeper and deeper into truth. And that's all this is about. But if you insist on staying in that small box of doctrinal interpretation that was handed to you, that's full of questions that we did not allow ourselves to ask, now we can ask them. And there's nothing wrong with saying, as I said, you know what, this doesn't make any sense. This just makes no sense. And it's okay to say that, because this is how you're going to start evolving and coming into the truth of who you are. Listen, I'm going to end with this, beloved, because I feel this very strongly. Your spiritual assignment, the reason and the purpose that you are here, is all attached to your authentic expression of the God within you. As long as we are allowing ourselves to stay attached to fear-based systems, allowing ourselves to be afraid to inquire, afraid to disagree with what you've been taught, you're going to stay captive in a dimension that you know is no longer serving you. Can we touch and agree right here? Today, I am willing to release what no longer serves me. I'm willing to release the cycle, the patterns, the habits that I've been stuck in. Beloved, let's partner together. Let's partner together. Come on. I'm going to do this in my own life and take one thing at a time that has been keeping me outside of a dimension I know I should be in. I should be flowing in and doing the sacred work, doing what it takes. I shared in my community how I know that we're being called to ask to do some things daily, to connect in some kind of way on a daily basis, to lend strength and empowerment to one another as we are practicing our spirituality, evolving into the masters, the spiritual alchemists that we are, bringing the transition and transformation to this earth realm. Let's covenant. Let's get in covenant. Let's partner together, beloved, because I can feel everything is ripe for change. Everything is ripe for transformation. In this universal year of 9, everything is ready to help you bring certain things to a close in your life. It's time for closure. It's time to end some things. And I want us to partner together. I want us in agreement together that we're going to help one another do the sacred work. Get on the awakened path, beloved. Let's go. Your questions are sacred. They are a sign that you are evolving, that your soul wants you to remember who you are, because I'm here to tell you that you are so amazing. You are so powerful. You are a genius. You are brilliant. And all of that's waiting to come to the surface and impact the world. We have to let go of fear of people, fear of being seen, fear of rejection, fear of missing out. We have to let go of anything that's coming from a fear-based realm. We have to be willing to release it. So in closing, I want you to affirm, I honor the questions that lead me closer to divine truth. Come on, beloved, that's what this is all about. You want to be led closer to divine truth. So the reflection question for us today, what questions have been stirring in my spirit that I haven't allowed myself to ask? Now that sounds simple, but I want you to feel the weight of this question. I want you to feel the weight of this inquiry. What questions have been stirring in my heart, stirring in my spirit that I have not allowed myself to ask? You're not allowing yourself to ask because you are afraid of the answer. You better put that in your notes right there. You're afraid of the answer is the reason why you won't ask the question. It's the reason why you won't look at what's glaring in your face, right? Because we're afraid of the answer. We're afraid of separation. We're afraid of isolation or independence. But I'm telling you, you will not get on your path to power, to peaceful prosperity, until we make the conscious choice. I'm going to inquire. As Moses said when he saw the burning bush, I'm going to go and see what this is. I'm going to take a deep look into this and see what's going on. And let's partner together. Let's hold hands together. I won't let you fall. I won't let you slip as we go into deep inquiry, into the questions that our soul wants us to ask, because it wants us to remember our sovereignty, our divinity. I could feel a shifting right here. I could feel a shifting right here, beloveds. Everything wants to lift us up. And we're going to come into divine agreement. On this Pentecost Sunday, let's work with the numbers 5 and 0 to honor Pentecost. Let's sow a $50 seed, a $5 seed, whatever you can do. And let's just sow seed into this word that your questions are a sacred sign and that you're going to allow your soul's evolution to remember the truth of who you are. All right, lovelies, that's it for us today. We will be in SSL tomorrow at 12 noon. Have a blessed, wonderful, and amazing rest of your day. We're going deeper into the topics we've been touching on. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a blessed, wonderful, and amazing rest of your day. Bye for now.